What is up, guys? It's Jan. Some of you guys have been following me for the past couple of months now. Some of you guys are just finding out about me. And I really want to make this video to really share my story with you guys. Share my story of how I went from the unconfident kid, the kid that was overlooked, the kid that was drowning in bad vices, the kid that had horrible addictions that were holding him back from reaching his full potential, to the man that I am now, shredded physique, crushing my goals, and doing it in a sustainable manner. I did this all by creating a mindset, an unbreakable mindset and an unbreakable program that causes me to take relentless intention every single day to reach all of my goals. And I broke it down for you guys in a quick 40-minute video. If you guys don't have 40 minutes to invest and to taking notes and to actually locking in and watching this video, click off right now, because this video is cut and dry. This video is meant to give out value, to educate you guys on how you also can start your journey, how you also can create the life that is worth living, how you also can destroy all of your bad vices and all of your bad habits and create the life that you've always dreamed of. So if you guys are not willing to invest 40 minutes of time to actually sit down, take notes, and watch and intake all the information from this video, click off the video right now. I only want dogs to watch this video. I only want people that are willing to change their life from here on out. I hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to show you guys exactly how I destroyed all of my vices and build an unbreakable mindset with a shredded physique. And I did this all without tracking my macros in 120 days, which that would be 16 weeks. In 16 weeks, you can change your life if you watch this video and you actually take notes and you do what you're supposed to do. Okay, because I used to be this unconfident man. I had no muscle. I was drowning in my vices. I had horrible habits, had a horrible environment around me, and then I became this specimen of a human. I became this man that wanted to destroy everything in his way and that wanted to reach all of his goals. I got a shredded physique. I cleaned up my habits. I started meeting the right people, and I started changing my life overall. So let's get to it. So you guys may be asking how I did this. Okay, how did I become this from this? Because right here, as you can tell, man, I was fried. I had no muscle. I wasn't even conscious in this picture. That's how fried I was. So just to give you some context, okay, I always had a vision for myself as a kid. The type of life that I wanted to live. I always had big dreams and aspirations. I really always wanted to have money. I always wanted to have a good physique. I always wanted to live up to my expectations of what a real man should be. I wanted to be able to provide for those around me. And that was the type of vision that I had for myself, right? So it got to the point where I really gave up on my vision as I went through high school and as I became a teenager, because of the horrible vices and the environment that I was in. I was hanging around people that didn't represent what I really wanted to do in my life, right? I was smoking weed every single day. I was going out to parties. I was doing things that I shouldn't be doing with my time. And that's what caused me to get off my path of actually having those big aspirations and that big vision that I had for myself, okay? So in this picture, believe it or not, I was still working out, right? I had been working out and doing sports for years, but nothing got me to my goal. My goal was always this physique right here. I always wanted to look shredded. I always wanted to have a six-pack. I wanted to have a big chest. I wanted people to see my striations. I wanted to have veins everywhere. You know, I always wanted to have a good physique at a low body fat percentage. And that's why I did sports. I even went to the gym. I did everything that I had to do. But nothing got me to my goal because of my vices, because of the bad habits that I had. Because I had been doing sports since I was like 5 years old. I played baseball, played basketball, and then I played basketball for basically the rest of my life until high school. So I was pretty much active all of the time, and I still couldn't get to my goal. So after years of all these trials and errors, I finally realized I was holding myself back for so long. I was the reason why I didn't get to the point where I wanted to get to. I was the person that was holding myself back because I was drowning in those bad vices, because my mindset wasn't developed. And once your mindset is not developed, you will not be able to reach whatever you want to reach, okay? So, quickly, I'm going to tell you guys who this video is for, okay? This video is for people, and you, if you're looking to put on 10 to 20 pounds of muscle, lean, have a six-pack year-round, and create an unbreakable mindset that can actually sustain it. Because I always tell people, okay, you cannot have a good physique and then go through a situation and your mindset cannot put you through that situation, because your mindset has to be so unbreakable that it's going to be able to bear any situation, any trials and tribulations that you go through. Because if you just have a good physique, but then you go through a situation in your life, right, where the worst happens, you know, God forbid, okay, you will lose your physique because you're not going to have the mindset that is ready to get over that situation that you're currently in. So if you want to build an unbreakable mindset, a steel mindset, this video is for you, okay? If you are drowning in bad vices and you know you're meant for more in this life, this video is for you. Because trust me, I used to be that guy, okay? I really wanted to achieve a great lifestyle. I really wanted to achieve a great life for myself, but my vices were the things that were holding me back. If you're sick of feeling lost and unconfident in yourself and your appearance, okay? Your appearance is very important. But you've always dreamed of more, this video is for you. Confidence talks, all right? When you walk into a room, people have to feel you. People have to feel your presence, okay? When you walk into an interview, when you walk into a room with a business owner, when you go to the gym, whatever situation that you're in, when you go on a date, okay? People have to see that you're confident, because if not, you're not going to be the chosen one, okay? So confidence talks, all right? If you know that your addiction should not define you and you are tired of feeling stuck in that cycle, this video is for you, okay? I used to have horrible addictions. I know people around me that had horrible addictions, okay? And the biggest thing was making a decision to not feel stuck in that position anymore. Because once you're stuck, there's always a way that you can get out. But once you get stuck too deep, it's going to come to a point where you can't get out anymore. So we want to make sure that we get you out of that position as soon as possible, okay? If you're sick of the physique you see every time you get out of the shower and look in the mirror, and you know that you're capable of more, this is for you. There's no better feeling of looking at yourself in the mirror and actually seeing a confident man, actually seeing a physique that you built, actually seeing a person and a man that you've struggled to build, a man that you've gone through trials, tribulations, through trials and errors. There's no better feeling than a man in the mirror that's actually confident in his appearance and comfortable in his own skin. All right? So who is this video not for? It was tripping for a minute, but who is this video not for? Okay? If you're looking for a quick and easy way to get shredded, this video is not for you, okay? Just click off the video, because there's no easy way to get shredded. It's not as easy as you guys think. Nothing in this world that's worth having comes easy, okay? If you're only interested in changing your physique and you think that you'll achieve that without creating a mindset that can sustain it, this video isn't for you. Like I mentioned previously, you cannot just have a good physique without a good mindset, because the physique will be so easy to lose if you don't have the mindset that's strong enough to actually sustain the physique, to actually sustain being in the best shape of your life, okay? If you're looking to get in great shape but not build the good habits that actually stick, this video is not for you, okay? You cannot get in great shape without good habits, okay? If you're out drinking, smoking, partying, doing all of these things that only hold you back, you're not going to have a good physique. So why even try, right? We need to build the habits before we build the physique, okay? If you're only willing to sacrifice very little to achieve your dream physique and dream mental well-being far beyond finances, this video is not for you, okay? You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot, okay? You're going to have to be willing to sacrifice time with friends, times with family. You have to build yourself, because right now you're in a position where you're stuck, where you're lost. You're in a position where you don't know how you're going to get out. So you have to focus on yourself, okay? You have to be able to focus on yourself for some time. So you have to be able to sacrifice the things that you enjoy right now that are temporary fun for long-term fun. Okay, we have to be able to eliminate all the temporary fun, all the temporary pleasure, because once you get out of that temporary pleasure, you're back to square one. You're back to the dark side after that temporary pleasure is over, right? But once you sacrifice the time now, the temporary pleasure now, you will have a life full of fun, a life full of good moments. So you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot right now. Trust me, okay? And if you're looking to stay in the same position because you're comfortable, okay, comfortable kills, for the next 1 to 2 years, this video is not for you, okay? We don't want any comfortable people in this. We have to have people in this program that are willing to be uncomfortable. You need to be uncomfortable if you want to grow. You cannot stay comfortable, because once you stay stationary for too long, you stop progressing. So you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to go through the trials, the tribulations. You have to be willing to go through the mistakes, everything that causes you to grow, okay? So we have to stay uncomfortable at all times. As men, we have to create a life that we want to live, and we have to do it by being uncomfortable. Sacrifices, okay? So, here's the truth, all right? Everyone thinks you can build a sustainable and lean physique and an unbreakable mindset while still holding on to your bad habits and lifestyle, okay? And that is nothing farther from the truth, okay? You cannot have bad habits. You cannot sacrifice little and have a good physique and a good mindset. You have to go through constant trials, constant pressure, constant situations that cause you to almost quit, okay? But you have to be willing to be able to get through that problem. If you want to achieve this right here, you have to understand that you're going to go through a lot. You're going to go through pain, but pain is what builds us, okay? Pain is what builds us men. So, most men never achieve a great physique because they don't understand these 3 simple principles, okay? Building a sustainable physique starts with your habits, like I already mentioned, okay? Your habits are important. If you are out partying, drinking, smoking, hanging around with losers, having casual sex, doing all of these things that don't cause you to improve yourself, you cannot build a sustainable physique, brother. I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. You cannot build a sustainable physique if you don't have good habits, okay? Second thing, you need to sacrifice your old life for your new one, okay? You have to sacrifice your old life. If you are stuck in those bad habits, if you are stuck in that situation that you were in, but you want a better future for yourself, it's common sense that you have to sacrifice who you were for who you're going to be. Because the new version of yourself is going to be 100 times better, and he cannot be holding on to old moments. He cannot be holding on to that old thread that he used to have before, okay? Third thing, if you don't have the mindset to sustain the physique, you will lose it guaranteed. So if you don't build that iron mindset, if you don't build that mindset, you will not be able to sustain your physique, because like I said, you will go through many moments in your life where you're going to feel like quitting. And if your mindset is not strong enough to actually withstand the pressure, your physique is going to fall. You're going to stop wanting to go to the gym. You're going to want to stop going and doing your 10K steps. You're going to want to stop eating healthy. You're going to want to stop doing all of these things, okay? And your mindset has to be there to support you. Your strong mindset has to be there to support you in that moment, because if not, you will fall, brother. You will fall. All right, so don't worry. I'm not going to let that happen to you, okay? You can overcome all of the setbacks, all of the pain, and instances that you've been in, and you can use them to push forward and build the best version of yourself. The version with no vices, an unbreakable mindset, and a shredded, sustainable physique, okay? So, in this instance, in this picture right here, like I told you guys, I was already working out. I was already working out in this picture, as you can see. And look at how skinny I was, man. Look at how skinny I was. I had my arm is the size of my tricep in this picture. This is me right now, and this is me 2 years ago. Like, it doesn't get any better than this, bro. Like, you really have to build the man in your head that you want to become. and you can be able to build whatever you want to build in this life, bro. I promise you. You have to create this version of yourself that you want to chase so bad. And once you create that version of yourself in your head, you have to do everything to make it happen. Relentless intention every single day to make sure that you become that person. Because that's what I did. Okay, I used to be that kid. My arm was the size of my tricep right now. I'm telling you, change is possible, people. Just put your mind to it. And if you want that person to be you, the person that takes relentless intention, the person that creates the life worth living, I'll show you exactly how I, first of all, turned my pain into power and ammunition to destroy everything in my way. Okay? Second, how to build strong habits that will push you to success in whatever you desire in your life. Whether you want to build a shredded physique, whether you want to create mass and get big, whether you want to create an unbreakable mindset that no one will be able to take away from you. Okay? Third, how to conquer limiting beliefs while becoming a shredded specimen. Alright? Because that's what I like to call myself. A shredded specimen. I'm a specimen of a man. Shredded. Alright? And how to conquer your limiting beliefs. Because your limiting beliefs are what is holding you back. Okay? Your limiting beliefs are what cause you to stay in the current position that you're in. Because you're afraid to move forward. You're afraid to get uncomfortable. You're afraid that something bad will happen. That the sacrifices that you're making, they're not worth taking. Okay? You're afraid of taking risk. Those are your limiting beliefs. Those are the beliefs in your head that cause you to stay in the same position that you're in. And we don't want to have that. Okay? We want to create a man that is able to push through his limiting beliefs, that is able to take risks, that is able to sacrifice a lot to make it happen. Alright? And I'm going to show you exactly how I turned my darkest times. So I'm going to get very vulnerable with you guys. I'm going to tell you guys my story. Into an unbreakable mindset that allows me to achieve everything that I want for this life. Okay? So, in case you didn't know me, a lot of people know me. Those of you guys that have been following me on YouTube, Instagram, you guys know that I've been documenting my story for a long time now. So, in case you didn't know me though, and you're new to the channel, you're new to the story, here's a brief backstory of how I got here, okay? So, my whole life, I was always a skinny, short kid, alright? As truthful as it is. I was always like one of the shortest people in my class, super skinny like you guys saw in the last couple of pictures. You know, I didn't have any confidence. I didn't have anything that got me going, for real. So, what I really had to understand was that I had to make a change, okay? If I wanted to gain respect, if I wanted to be respected, if I wanted to gain the confidence, I had to make a change, okay? I was always getting made fun of by others. Always, because since I was a short, skinny kid, I felt very overlooked, right? And that portrayed in the way that I carried myself. People knew that I wasn't confident, so all they would do was continue to torture me by just bullying me, you know? So, in this picture, as you could tell, I was high, okay? I was high, I just came back from a party, and I did all of these things because I wanted to be considered a cool kid. Since I had been bullied my entire life, since I had been made fun of my entire life, since I had always been this unconfident guy, I finally for once found something that would consider me a cool kid in high school, okay? And that was smoking. I wanted to smoke because I wanted to be part of the cool kids. I wanted to party because I wanted to be part of the cool kids. I wanted to be around them, you know, because I wanted that status. And that caused me to be this person right here. The person that you shouldn't want to be, okay? Like I said, I always felt overlooked. I always felt like people didn't respect me. I wasn't respected by my classmates. And for once, I wanted to feel like the cool kid that people always paid attention to. I wanted to have that high status, okay? And I had, like I said, I had always been in sports. I had always been working out. I had always been doing push-ups, sit-ups, whatever it is to try to stay in shape. But I still lacked confidence because of my size. And the reason why I lacked confidence because of how short I was because my classmates were constantly bullying me about it. They were constantly making me aware of how short I was, of how little I was. And that caused me to really break down. That caused me to really be like, damn, like, am I even worth something in this life? Right? But I was always competitive, okay? And I knew I had a lot more to offer. It wasn't just my size. It wasn't just like I had a mentality and I had a vision for myself that was greater than I could ever imagine. But my habits took me off that path. My habits were the things that were holding me back because I decided to, instead of bettering myself, reading books, working out consistently, having the right program to actually attack, and forget about what people were saying, I instead wanted to become the cool kid and I wanted to have that status. Okay? And that held me back more than anything. So, what I finally did was to be able to achieve this result right here and to be able to get baptized, which all glory to God for everything, to be able to get baptized and to be able to achieve this result that I wanted for myself, I had to understand that I had to let go. And I finally developed the willpower, all glory to God, to actually build myself into the highest version of myself. And that is who I am right here. The highest version of myself. The person with the good habits. The person with the good relationship with God. The person that takes relentless intention every single day to attack his goals. Okay? I never want to be this person again. Alright? Never in my life am I ever going back to being this person again. No matter what I endure, no matter what struggles are put in my way, no matter what obstacles I put in my way, because I have the power and I have the ammunition. Right? I have the power and I have the ammunition right here. I have God on my side. And I built the person that I am today to be able to create the lifestyle that I want. So, I used the intrinsic method, okay? I use a method called the intrinsic method, and I built this method through my own trial and error by eliminating who I was and welcoming the new me, okay? The man I always dreamed of being. So, I decided to break it all down for you. How I became this, like I told you guys, I was already working out in this picture, okay? But you see my arms don't even fill out my sleeves. That's how skinny I was. Because I didn't have the right program. I didn't have the right habits. I was still smoking. I had smoked before even going to the gym that day. So that just goes to show you that I didn't have the habits that would lead me to this physique. This is the result that I wanted. But this is the result that I was getting. And it was all because of my habits. So I've decided to break it all down for you. Very simple. Alright? So, in the following steps, I'll outline the entire process, A through Z, of what I did to accomplish these results, so you can use my process and structure to build an unbreakable mindset while getting a shredded physique that no one will be able to take away from you. Okay? Because once you build that mindset and once you build that physique, no one can take it away from you. You need to understand that. That's why it's something that you must build. Because all of these materialistic things that people want, all of these people, oh my God, money, money this, money that, money this, money that. Oh, I just want money. I just want to create money to be able to buy all of these things. But guess what? That's all going to be taken away from you. This will not be taken away from you. Okay? So, the intrinsic method, okay? First thing we got to understand is letting go of your old self. You have to eliminate the person that you were to become the person that you were going to be and to become the person that you are. Okay? If you are currently in a situation right now where I used to be, where I used to struggle, where I had the bad habits, the bad vices, where I had the bad friends, where my life was falling short of my expectations and of my standards, you have to let go of the person that you are to be the person that you're going to be. Okay? You have a lot of potential for yourself. You have a lot of goals and dreams and visions to create in your life, and you can make it happen. But you have to understand, you have to let go of the person that you are. Okay? First thing that I did, I destroyed all of my vices. Okay? I cut out smoking weed completely. I stopped sleeping in because I was going to sleep damn near when I was doing that like 3 in the morning, and I was waking up at like 12. What type of life is that? Okay? I stopped lying to myself. I always told myself that I would do something and I never ended up doing it. That was giving me that quick dopamine rush and caused me to just lie to myself. Okay? I stopped running away from my problems. This is the biggest one. Okay? The reason why people smoke weed, the reason why people fall into these bad vices is because they have problems that they want to run away from. They don't want to face their problems head on. So you have to face your problems head on to be able to solve them. If you run away from them and you go to smoking weed, you go to doing all of these things, it's all going to come back to you once that high is over. You have to understand that. This is only temporary. The feeling that you're putting yourself through right now is only temporary. Okay? It creates peace because you have problems that you're running away from. And once you face your problems head on, you know that you have to have the right mindset to be able to attack them and solve them. Okay? Second thing, I created an unstoppable daily process. Okay? This is something that no one will be able to take away from you. And this is something that I do every single day to take relentless intention towards my goals. Okay? I started waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning. 5 a.m. every single morning. I do 50 push-ups as soon as I get up. This wakes me up. Okay? Wakes me up. It wakes my body up. And that way I don't have to get back into bed. Because that's one of the biggest things, guys. You can wake up at 5 in the morning. But if you don't do anything with your time and you just look at your bed and you go back into bed, what was the point of waking up? Are you that much of a pussy that you really got up? You really got up, you went to the bathroom, you came back, you started bed, and you laid back in bed after you already got up? Are you that much of a pussy? Really? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you get up, you have to get up. So the first thing that I do is do 50 push-ups, so that way I don't even have to get back into bed, right? Third thing, I pray. I read my Bible, and this creates the peace and clarity that I need in my mind. Instead of going back to the drugs, instead of going back to worrying and doing all of these things that don't benefit me, I go into my word. I go into my word and I set up a prayer because I know that God will take all of my problems and He will solve them. Okay? He tells us not to worry because worry is from the devil. So why would I not listen to His word? Okay? Every single problem that I've ever had and I talked to God about it, He solved it. Some way, somehow, He solved it because I talked to Him about it, because I trusted Him and I put my faith in Him. And that's what overall gives me the clarity and the peace that I need in my life. Okay? Last thing that I did, I plan out my full day written on my journal. Okay? This journal right here. Plan out my entire day to make sure that I take relentless intention to make sure that I have all my tasks filled out on that journal. Okay? That way I can actually track what I'm doing. That way I don't make any mistakes throughout the day. That way I can actually manage my time effectively, because that's a big thing. If you struggle to do all of the things you do throughout the day, is because you have a time management problem. So you need to manage your time more effectively. Okay? The journal keeps me managing my time and it keeps me locked in. So that's why I do that. Okay? Third step, consistency. You have to be focused on one goal. You cannot be all over the place. All right? You have to create and focus on one goal at a time. So set out a goal. Map out a goal and map out daily mini tasks that will get you to that goal. Okay? So my goal, I do it from 3 to 12 months. Something that's attainable within 3 to 12 months. I set up 5 goals. Okay? But those 5 goals, I complete them every single day. That gets me to an even bigger goal. So that main one goal is the principle that I set up for the next year. Okay? And I do 5 daily goals that will take me to that big goal. So you have to break it down into days, into weeks, into months. Because once you win the day, you win the week. Once you win the week, you win the month. Once you win the month, you win the year. Once you win the year, you win the decades. Once you win the decades, you win the lifetime. Okay, that's how it goes. So you have to be able to take those daily steps, plan them out. Make sure that you are focused on one thing at one time, so your mind is not all over the place. Okay? I also use my pain and my struggling moments as fuel. All of those times where I felt like giving up. All of those times where I felt like I wasn't enough. All of those times where I went to the drugs, where I went to the weed, where I went to the alcohol bottle, where I went to the parties, where I went to the club, where I went to doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing in my life. I used that as pain. I used that as moments to push me into the person that I wanted to be. Like I said, you have to let go of your old self. So I got reminded of who I was, and I told myself that I never wanted to be that person again. And that's why I created the life that I have now. That's why I created the person that I am now. Because I used my pain and my struggles to build me into who I am today. Okay? I did not want to feel like my old self ever again. That's what I had to understand. Once you look at your old self, okay, and you look at that man, you're disgusted by that man, you never want to be that man ever again. Alright? So, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I used this exact method, the intrinsic method. And I used it to reverse my setbacks, drop all of my horrible habits, and build an unbreakable mindset and physique that no one will be able to take away from you. That's the biggest thing you have to understand. No one will take your mindset or your physique away from you. That's something that you build on your own. Okay? So, destroying all of my vices. So I cut out smoking. I stopped running away from my problems. I stopped sleeping in. I stopped lying to myself. And I took action immediately. Okay? I cut out smoking forever. I will never go back to smoking. Look who I was right here. Look at this man that smoked and he ate a big he ate a big plate of food after. And I was still skinny. Look at my arms. My arms didn't even fill on my sleeve. If I put this shirt on right now, I'll bust open the sleeves. I guarantee you. I will bust open the sleeves if I put on this shirt right now. And look at the dumb face that I was making. You think that I really wanted to be this person ever again? I cannot sit here, look at this picture and be like, damn, I want to be like him. And that's what I had to understand. I had to envision myself being the best version of myself. Alright? So I cut out smoking completely. I had already been smoking for, in this picture, I had already been smoking for over a year. Right? Every single day, consistently, multiple times a day. Smoking every day. I'm telling you. The amount of money that I was wasting, the amount of time that I was wasting, the amount of toxic chemicals that I was putting in my body. I was destroying my life. I was killing myself slowly. Alright? And it was leading me to do things that I didn't want to do in my life. Okay? I was crashing cars. I was hanging around with dumb individuals. I was getting into trouble with the police. I was doing things that I didn't want to do in my life. And once I saw myself doing that and in this position, I thought I was cool, right? Because I had already achieved the status of the cool kid. Oh yeah, this man smokes weed. Oh yeah, go to Jan if you want to smoke some weed. Go to Jan if you want to roll up a blunt with him, you know, and like he will hook you up. And I had already developed that status that I always wanted, right? But like I said, temporary pleasure doesn't last, people. Temporary pleasure doesn't last. And I quickly noticed that vision that I always had for myself, it wasn't this. Alright? Second thing, stop running away from my problems. Alright? The reason why I had gotten into smoking, like I told you guys, I was always bullied, I was always overlooked, and I wanted to be considered the cool kid, right? So instead of facing the problem head on and building myself from scratch, going to the gym, taking relentless attention, reading books, focusing on school, doing things that actually made me into a better man in this society, an actual good man, I instead wanted to be the cool guy, alright? And that caused me to rely on smoking weed, okay? Instead of facing the problem head on, which was me being unconfident and me not having the status and me not being the best version of myself, I instead gave back to the weed. I instead gave into the weed to run away from my unconfident body. And that's what you cannot do, alright? Third thing, stop sleeping in. Like I told you guys, I was going to sleep 3, 4 in the morning. I was waking up at 12. Once you wake up at 12, your whole day is gone, alright? And mind you, I was going to sleep at 3 in the morning doing nothing, just scrolling on my phone. Scrolling on my phone. That is one of the biggest problems in this society, scrolling, right? And I was so addicted to scrolling because I didn't have a purpose for my life, alright? I wasn't chasing purpose. So I didn't manage my time effectively, and that caused me to scroll my life away on the phone. I'll end up going to sleep at 4 in the morning, I'll wake up at 12, and I'll repeat the cycle the next day, okay? Smoke weed, eat, scroll. Smoke weed, eat, scroll. That's what my life consisted of. And that's what made me into this man right here, people. This man right here. Look how stupid he looks, right? So, other thing, stop lying to myself, okay? Every single time that I told myself I would do something, I told myself plenty of times, Jan, you gotta quit. Jan, tomorrow's the day that you're gonna quit. Jan, tomorrow's the day that you're gonna stop watching porn. Jan, tomorrow's the day that you're going to quit investing into all of these bad habits and all of these bad people. Tomorrow's the day that you're gonna stop jerking off. Every single time that I told myself that, I would get a quick dopamine hit, and then I would go to sleep. And the next day, I would repeat the same thing, and I would still do it because I already got the dopamine from just saying it, okay? But in reality, all I was doing was I was lying to myself. I was lying to myself because I wasn't confident in the man that I was. And I wanted to get that quick dopamine hit. I wanted to tell myself that I was going to do something. But in reality, I never did it, okay? I never did it, and that quick dopamine hit will cause me to be like, okay, you know, I'm going to do it. But then I never end up doing it. I end up going back to the bad vices. I end up still smoking. I end up still jerking off. I end up still watching porn and doing things that I shouldn't be doing. All right? So, the reason why I had to destroy all of these things is because I had to take action immediately. The only reason why I was able to destroy these things is because I took action immediately. I didn't wait any longer. Once I realized that I didn't want to be this person ever again, once I really told myself and I engraved it into my head and I talked to God about it and I told myself that I didn't want to be this man right here ever again, I took action immediately. I didn't wait. I didn't wait till next month. I didn't wait till next year. I didn't wait till tomorrow. I took action immediately. I threw away all of the drugs. I deleted all of the apps. I went to extremes, okay? I deleted all of the apps on my phone that caused me to go and jerk off, okay? All of those temptations, I eliminated them from my life, and I went to an extreme because that is what you have to do. You have to go to an extreme. If you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you don't end up doing it because you always get tempted by the same thing, you have to go to an extreme to throw all of those things out of your life, and that is what I did. Once I threw all those things out of my life, I took action immediately. I stopped hanging around the friends that I used to hang out with. I started locking in the gym. I went ghost on the world, okay? And I locked in on myself because that is the person that I had to be, all right? So, the unstoppable daily process, okay? The unstoppable daily process, like you can see right here in these pictures, all right? I woke up at 5 a.m. every single morning. And then this day I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I went to the gym. That was just because I was feeling different. But usually, and that was because I had also gone to sleep pretty early. But usually I wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning, guaranteed. I'm locked in, all right? First thing I do, 50 push-ups. 50 push-ups because I have to wake up. That's what wakes me up. Hold up, I just messed up again. Okay, 50 push-ups because that is what gets me up, okay? Wakes me right up. I don't get back into bed. I turn my light on, and I get straight to work, all right? I make my bed. You have to make your bed, all right? You have to make your bed if you want to see yourself be organized throughout the day. I make my bed. I set up my prayer. I read 10 minutes of my Bible and an educational book, okay? So, overall, I spend 10 minutes reading my Bible, 10 minutes reading my educational book. That's 20 minutes that I use in the morning just to educate my mind and prepare myself for the day, all right? And this process has worked tremendously, all right? My coach, all right, he posted me this day, the dialed life. Shout out Joey Fowler, all right? I got rid of my old self, the one who smoked weed, made excuses, stayed stagnant, all right? I was comfortable in my situation, and now I'm locked in. I'm building my body, my business, a future that I actually deserve, the future that I always envisioned for myself, all right? I'm currently building. The life that you want to live will cost you your old one, all right? My coach is saying this, all right? The life that you want to live will cost you your old one. You need to understand this. You cannot be the person that you are now if you want big dreams, big aspirations for your future. You can't. It's not going to be like that, all right? You have to be willing to sacrifice. So this is the unstoppable daily process that I used every single morning. Woke up early, all right? My 50 push-ups. I destroyed my old self. Make bed, prayer, 10 minutes of Bible, 10 minutes of educational book. This gets my mind prepped for the day. Now when I go to the gym, now when I go and I hop on calls with my clients, now when I go and I try to help people out as much as possible, and I give this value and I get on here and I talk to you guys for 37 minutes, giving you straight game, this routine helps me get prepped for the day. All right? So, third thing, consistency. Consistency, like I said, you have to be focused on one goal. What is your one goal? The one goal, you have to map it out. All right? Daily task, monthly task, weekly task that you have to complete, and you have to reflect on how you're doing those things to be able to get to the goal at the end of the year. All right? But you have to focus and be laser focused on one thing, because once you focus on too many things and you're a jack of all trades, you're gonna be at low levels in all of those things. So I'd rather be at a high level in one thing and be at the top in one thing than be at a low level in a bunch of different things. All right? You have to be focused on one goal. All right? In this picture, as you can see, my goal at the time was obviously getting as big as possible. But right here in this picture, I was already kind of ripped, but that's because of how skinny I was. All right? I was just skinny. But this is when I first started going to the gym. But the thing was that I was still drowning in bad vices. And I was still smoking weed on a day-to-day basis. I was still drinking. I was still partying, still clubbing. I was still doing all of the things that I should not be doing. And I was still working out. Alright, so this is when I first started my journey. But look at how skinny I was, because I had all of those things that instead of helping me make progress, it was keeping me stagnant and comfortable in the current situation. Alright? So, I used my pain, my struggling moments, all of those times where I felt overlooked, all of those times where I felt bullied, all of those times where I felt like I wasn't myself. I used that as fuel to build this man right here, to build this man right here. I used it as power. I used it as ammunition to attack, to destroy all of the obstacles that would ever come in my way. Alright? I created the mindset. I created the man that's worth it. Alright? And that is who this man is right here. Alright? I never wanted to feel like my old self ever again. That person was dead. As soon as I committed, as soon as I took action to create the person that I wanted to be and to create the lifestyle that I wanted to live, I destroyed this person. Alright? And I stopped running away from my problems. Okay? In this picture, like I told you guys, I was still smoking. I was still finding peace in doing that. I was still drowning in bad habits and my addictions because I was running away from my problems. But once I took action and I stopped, I started hitting my goals. I stopped running away from my problems. I took relentless intention every single day. I faced my problems head on because, like I told you guys, I had created enough power and I had enough ammunition to get through that obstacle. Alright? And that's what ultimately became and made me the best man that I could ever be. Alright. And still, through this entire process, I was still able to enjoy my life, my favorite foods. I did not restrict myself of the fruits of my labor, okay? Because I was putting in work day in and day out, right? I was making sure that I was taking the right steps to get to the goal that I wanted. But I had to enjoy the fruits of my labor, right? Because if you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor, if you restrict yourself too much, you're not going to sustain your regimen. You're not going to sustain your routine, right? You will not want to stick to it because that's how the human body works. It has to be rewarded with something. Okay, if you're taking relentless intention every single day, if you're putting in the work, if you're putting in countless amount of hours into the person that you want to be, into the lifestyle that you want to live, you have to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, because if not, you are not going to continue on your journey. You're gonna want to kill your routine because you're not enjoying the parts of this life that you have to enjoy. Okay, so I didn't track my macros. Okay, I wasn't restricting myself eating the foods that I love because I was still locked in. Okay, I was locked in and I was taking relentless intention on a day-to-day basis, so I didn't have to eliminate the things that I actually enjoyed and the things that were healthy out of my life. Alright, so now that you guys understand exactly how this whole process works, I have an offer for you guys. Okay, if you're using your situation as a way out, if you're using your problems as a way out, alright, if you're unable to push yourself to new heights when your mind fails you, okay, because your mind is going to be the first thing that fails, not your physique. But if you can't push yourself through that situation, you need to develop your mind, right? If you're tired of the man you hear in your head all the time, and the man that you see in the mirror when you wake up in the morning, or when you get out of the shower, or when you take your shirt off at the beach, when you can't even take your shirt off at the pool, when you go into, you know what it is to be the man that goes into the pool with his shirt on because he's so uncomfortable in his own skin that he can't even take his shirt off at the beach or at the pool. I mean, personally, you know, I live the Miami lifestyle. So if you go into the pool in Miami in summer and 90-degree weather with a black shirt on, you're going to be suffocating from heat, bro. You're going to have armpit sweat all over the place and gut sweat all over the place because of your fat belly. So you have to become the person, right, that's confident enough to do those things, to be able to take his shirt off, to be able to express his confidence, and to be able to express the work that he actually put in. Alright? If you're ready to eliminate your bad habits, if you're wanting to create a new identity, if you want to destroy your old self and create someone new, this is for you. Okay? If you're ready to create the life that you've always dreamed of, if you always had big dreams, aspirations for yourself, just like I had as a kid, this is the offer. Alright? I will help you destroy all of your vices, and I will help you build an unbreakable mindset with a shredded physique, all without tracking. Okay? I didn't track when I did it, all right? But I can help you do it, okay? Without going to a very extreme. I can help you do it sustainably, all right? Because that is the word you have to use. I can help you do it sustainably. I can help you create the life that you want to live. I can help you shape yourself into the confident person. I can help you be happy with the person that you see in the mirror. And I can help you do that all within 120 days. The person that you see right here, shredded six-pack with the sun beaming, all right? The person that you see right here, arms ripping through the shirt, arms actually filling out t-shirts, all right, with veins popping all over the place, all right? Because you don't want to be this man right here anymore. You want to be this man and you want to be this man, all right? You want to be able to be confident in yourself. And I will help you do that in 120 days. So if you are that man that wants to see change and that wants to transform his life and do a complete 180, book with me down below. I'm going to leave a Calendly link. We'll hop on a consultation call. We'll see if you're qualified to join the program. And we'll move forward, man. So if you guys are willing to actually transform your life and willing to invest in your future, willing to actually create a life that is worth living, book with me down below. Follow me on Instagram. I love all of you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got a lot of value from it. I hope you guys took notes, and be safe, guys.